Yeah, we've actually seen him as well on this server before. I believe he won on it, unfortunately, in number 3. But Dendy is going to pull out the Storm here for the mid lane to give a little bit more time. Storm Spirit out of the ball lightning.
He will mention this every single time.
And it never happens.
Relevant.
And it never happens. It never happens.
It has never, not a single
but hey, this could be the one. If you never buy a ticket for the lottery, you'll never win.
Yes, but if you buy it, most likely you'll never win either.
That is very true. That is very true.
By statistics, there's more chances of you getting hit by a car twice than there is for you winning.
Well, I almost got hit by a car outside once. Remember that?
That's true. You gotta do it twice the same day, and then there's more chances.
Oof. Okay, so we'll see. I like this draft so far coming through from Big. It is a nice save. You can use that as a nice interrupt, either basically onto anyone. You can use it as a save. This game has a lot of usefulness for a bit more of an aggressive sort of stance as well, because you're probably going to see a lot of TI6 flashbacks with Shadow Demon Luna, except this time around it's going to be Shadow Demon Terrorblade to help them siege high ground, because they do like just a little bit of early tower damage, so that will always help out. It used aggressively here as well. Versus the Troll in his ulti, just to burn some duration off of the battle trance. If you can see a Darkseer or an Earth Spirit before the fight starts, it might be worth actually the disruption onto them to make sure that Dendy can dive and be pretty much unbothered. Because that's really the only control they have for him this game. Oracle's Fortune's End is much too slow to ever catch up to a Storm Spirit, whereas the Vacuum and the Earth Spirit do a little bit better at controlling him. But yeah, it does leave the support duo a little bit weak though, especially if you ever fall behind in the game for bait. So I'd like to see them go for like sort of defensive offlaner or something with a stun, if that makes sense. Because right now Solarbine's pretty good, but it's not really gonna be. Yeah.
10 seconds. I think this one just for nothing right now, so I would agree that some sort of offlaner that gives you that kind of
5 seconds remaining.
So you lost the main ones, particularly Mars and Tidehunter, which are the most popular ones. That's the more stable pick. I mean, I was just suggesting, but I always suggest Centaur. So
I mean, it's a sexy fat hero as well.
It is sexy fat. Yeah, it's true. I think it's pretty solid with Shadow Demon. The combo's nice because you set up really nicely for the heel stomp. He's pretty good against Darkseer because Stampede can compete with Surge pretty nicely. Oracle can dispel, is annoying with the root, but you gotta have to deal with that. And I think you can kind of control easily this hero. I can't Oh, is this going to be an interesting choice? Interesting choice, because I wouldn't think of a mid-Lycan particularly against Storm Spirit, because Storm tends to be really good against melee heroes, and hold his own better than most, but it's still going to be not the easiest lane, especially because Wolves are going to die so easily to Remnants.
Yeah, especially the first 2 levels, really.
I don't know if I love this hero. Like, he's good against enemy supports, right? He's particularly good against Shadow Demon, Keeper of Light, destroys them. But he's not great against Terrorblade, nor Storm Spirit, nor Centaur.
He could be a little bit weak versus the Shadow Demon, right? Because of the Demonic Purge being super annoying for.
Yeah, but your shapeshift doesn't affect you, right? So I think that's how you have to fight.
Yeah, but
Soulcatcher still is very good against you, though. So you're right.
I feel like the Wolves, like the early 5 minutes, are going to be pretty much all Dendy favored. But as soon as like Dendy starts to go in between the waves and stack camps, I think Laurel's going to have to be a little bit clever with pushing the waves and farming underneath tower, and then going back to farm the jungle. We have absolutely no early game push from bait unless they want to bring RDO in for a metamorphosis for a tier 1 tower siege, which is very unlikely because he likes to farm early on the hero, just get his items, and that's how he wins games. So why would you want him to do anything differently? Well, this game maybe because you want something to push your flank, and you want something to knock down that tier 1 tower to make sure he can just nuke the wave, farm a camp or 2, use the Wolves, come back, nuke the wave again, right? That's kind of the only plus side I can see. I generally do agree with you. I feel like he kind of had his way here with the Lycan for the first couple of minutes in the lane, and that's going to be the most dangerous part here, and perhaps what sets the tempo for this game.
I also find that particularly, they played a relatively fast draft, right, with Troll and Lycan, and Darkseer to some degree as well. You have like 3 pushers, pretty good draft for that sense. I don't think it's bad, but you are not playing against a lineup that's bad at cutting waves or bad at the lane game. Koloks, Shadow Demon, and Storm are all great at doing that. Centaur's a really early pick that no matter how great your lane goes or how bad your lane goes, you'll still do fine.
Don't mind me, I'm just trying to sneeze over here.
Nah, that's fine. So I think the bait lineup is a bit easier to play. The Prodigy though, this is how they win games, right? They go for a really odd strat that has a very specific peak or some really strong strength, you know, something all caught straight into one, all your eggs into one basket, and they throw the basket at Dendy's head and they give him a concussion. And that's kind of the idea for a lot of these drafts, and I don't think it's bad.
And they're like,
It could work if they played really well.
and they're like, Dendy, wake up. Navi, Fountain Rookie? No, it's 2021. We're playing ESL1 DPC leagues. Yeah, it's a league now, Dendy.
Yeah.
Nah, he's going to do real well this game. I don't want to say he's got a free game, because with the Earth Spirit, you can always really run the risk of overextending a little bit and getting punished heavily.
Spirit's not the best ganker for a Storm either.
No, he's not the best ganker for a Storm, but because how quickly you can really get off geoing that a Grid Push naturally pulls into a Rolling Boulder, right, for a little Yo-Yo of Death, there's some potential for things to go wrong. You've got a Shadow Demon, you've got a Centaur, I mean, you've got ways to mitigate it, right?
The Yo-Yo of Death, by the way, is ties into the boulders mentioned. Holy boulder. That means destroy the Yo-Yo, dude.
But first, the combo would be you drop Remnant behind the Storm Spirit, you pull it in, and then you roll back in.
Yeah, I mean, that's the actual combo, I'm just saying. That's not what I prefer.
Well, I mean, it's...
Can I use my turn?
Well, that spells death for a Storm Spirit.
It does
so, I guess you can call it the teeter-totter of death, or whatever you want to call it.
That's much better. Teeter-totter of death. I'll work with that.
Yeah, so this lane is going to be a little bit teeter-tottery for the Lycan. Again, early on, like you said, as well, his wolves just die to Storm. Overload attack is really great at dealing with both wolves. It's a really tough early game here for our Lycan. But he farms really well and quite easily under tower with pretty high base damage, and with Bone Blade, it's basically CS.
You can see it here. Like it goes in for a CS and Storm uses a free static Remnant, and they're like, okay, I guess. Your stats, the thing is, Storm does, of course, do well against melee heroes. He does do well against melee heroes, but he's specifically good against Lycan because you have actually a really nice starting base armor. 6 armor is no joke, especially for a ranged hero, with a nice base HP to go with it. So Lycan's insane physical damage early doesn't really seem to matter to a Storm because you tank a fair amount of it. A TV or Naga, but honestly, you're Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, you are Bounty Hunter, except with Ball Lightning. Speaking of TV, he's already popped his first Metamorphosis. 5-1 here, is now farming between Tier 1 and Tier 2, with Force Major attempting to try and bother him a little bit.
We'll see how the bottom lane develops as well. I know that Centaur is not too bothered by losing his lane, but ideally you don't want to lose it too hard and put a bit of pressure into control. It's not the worst lane, honestly, Centaur control. I like the build system. It's very uncommon nowadays to go for Retaliate early because you don't get stacks anymore, so it's really cool. But, by the way, change it back to Retaliate.
Yeah, no, I agree. Make it consistent. Yeah, that makes sense.
But anyway, the Centaur against a troll, if you go for the other level in the passive, some Centaurs I've seen going for 2 levels, and then you're actually fighting a troll and harassing in the street. And Whirling Axe doesn't deal nearly enough damage to truly hurt. And then you go for an early ring of health because you want to go for Vanguard anyway against a troll, and you want to go for the Hooded Defiance game probably as well, and you're good to go. Alright, I don't think it's going to be too tough for 60. See it now in the line.
Just keep in mind, as on middle lane, of course, we've got the level 3 combo ready for our Storm. The Vortex of Death, the Electrical Shock of Death, you might want to call it there. Lots of damage, he's going for the level 2 Shock Overload. Well, you know the one, especially against melee heroes, you're more likely to see it.
It's the pull into the Remnants, right?
Pull, auto attack, Remnant, auto attack for a third of their HP usually.
Honestly, it's a fair, like for level 3 combo, it's a fair strong combo.
Yeah, I think it's better at 4 depending on what you want to go with. This game is overload, and it's going to have some later as well. Okay, we're going to see it. Oh no, he's just auto attacking creep. He's just CS. Good old Dendy. He doesn't want to miss a CS like we missed First Blood. A celebrity will be able to get that into the top lane.
Don't use a royal we. The kill, or the middle lane, the one weakness that he has with these kind of combos, right, is that Lycan does have good HP region and nice HP in general. So magical damage is usually not the way to deal with Lycan. Usually it's physical because armor gains level.
Wolves see no armor.
Yeah, wolves need no armor. Particularly the Wolf Master needs no armor either. Gaining 1 armor, I think, is 6 levels, right? So it's not great. So then he can take advantage of that with his physical damage, but that's why he's not trying to play too aggressively.
Yeah, this is actually right on the money. I think you get 0.16 armor for 1 agility.
Yeah, I think you get, like, I think it is every 6 agility is 1.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. Do you want to do that math? 19 over 3 point? No, because that doesn't count based
No,
on.
that doesn't count.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty certain.
No,
I changed it from 7,
I'm pretty sure you're right. I'm pretty sure you're right.
Yeah, now we're seeing as well. In this top lane, they do lose RDO, but still this lane is not too difficult for them. RDO just need to be careful. Darkseer is a hard counter to the TV, so the fact that he's still farming nicely shows that the Koloks managed to mitigate the That one of DPC is in trouble though. There's a 3 stacks of Shadow Poison, and they get the 4th one, he should be dead. Unless he can dispel in time. DPC, I'm on it though.
Yeah.
That's going to be enough for the 4th stack, and that's DPC. With Hook Stomp, stopping the troll aggression, Sexy Fat just gets away, not even concerning himself with the troll. That was good. But just what is it? Cool sectors don't look at their Hook Stomp.
Nope, they do not. They just hook stomp. Well, because ideally, right, you know, horses and donkeys and anything that has that weird body structure that some animals have evolved on this planet, they just want to get you with their real legs.
Human quadrupeds?
Oh, that's kind of weird.
It's how you think.
Listen, if I came in a room walking like a quadruped, you'd be like, "What's wrong with you, you freak?"
Actually, there's a small town in Turkey where people never developed to walk in 2. They all walk in 4 legs.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Fun fact, and that's actually true. Like, I'm not making this up.
No, I totally believe it.
I watch a whole documentary. Very fascinating people, but they like to walk on 2 legs though. It's just because culturally they have never been taught to. So they crawl. They're very fast as well. Like really fast. Anyway, Ronald Duster is going to die really easily. That's the new vacuum early on that Darkseer's love to get. Gives you so much more kill potential in the lane. You don't need to level 2nd point of surge. Okay, this is how you should start to play the top lane, by the way. If you're under a lot of pressure there,
if you're can't hit a stop, just take point of that. It'll all be okay. Unfortunately, the 2 times I've looked to top lane, you have been the money here.
That's very true. I find that if you do snowball like this from being Prodigy, you have a solid chance of just taking the game super early, which is your plan anyway. And Celebrity is doing a great job of doing so. I think that's why they're putting so much pressure on top. There's no point taking secure form for Troll, because they're playing on Lycan early anyway, and Troll will recover.
Exactly. And unlike Lycan, who you said the best way to get through him is physical damage because of his poor armor and high HP, well, if you take a look at TV, it's exactly the opposite. High AF armor, but piss poor HP.
Yeah,
so you gotta go for a lot of magic damage. So you're going to see Boulder Smash, he's taking the point in the magnetic grip just in case Dendi comes and ganks his lane. And now it looks like Dendi's got his eyes down bad, but they're going to try for another kill. Not to notice, DSA is rotating in, trying to hold down TSA. As there's Force Major, that's around Boulder, and the Boulder Snap, and notice it's not going to save his life, unfortunately. Force Major over 3. It's not good now, but should be able to use all 8 points Dendi. He's able to hold down 6 down TSA. Take that, don't you walk in my bags anymore. That's going to be a 3-for-1 trade in favor of Bait.
I think that your Bait are utilizing one of the best assets, which is just Dendi, honestly. We said this lane was going to be relatively easy for Dendi. He has a lot of potential early. Like he can also gank, but not as effectively as his stuff because you don't carry stuff. You usually kind of rely on someone else to bring the catch, and you're much more defendant rather than much more cool. Just a player here and then walking over to the lane. Exactly, which Dendi took advantage of, right? Because Dendi sees an opportunity, goes for it. Like, you kind of have to gank proactively, guessing where the injury is going to be, try to take advantage of your shapeshift. I'd say that VP Prodigy here is playing the early pretty well, but they're playing objective-based early, whereas Bait is starting to play around the kills, right? Or slowing down the enemy team. That's why Celebrity has been punching this tower for a while. His knuckles are starting to hurt it.
Yeah, they are, certainly. But, you know, he's basically going to be pretty much unbothered here for the most part. His farm is doing pretty nicely. He's playing number 2 in the game, a little bit above the TV, just behind Dendi.
I like his build for an early mechanism. Just to get I like his build. I don't like his chances right now. Bye, Darkseer. Vacuum, not going to do it. And so you go for the early mech, you get the armor aura, which is great for pushing. Then you go immediately for the Ags, and you can still opt for the Necros if you think that's the right choice, or just straight up go for something like, say, Shivas, or even Helm the Dominator, etc., etc. And so you still get that early game push, but with the most efficient build possible. Grease is great, but it's not so great to upgrade early, especially if you have an early game. The extra healing usually is more than the upgrade.
There's also an interesting skill though by Force Major. He's able to put the second point in the rolling boulder, which is not that strange. This game, I thought for sure he'd want to just kind of max go 3-1-1 at level 6, right? Yes, the most, well, I would say 3-2 build. Storm versus a hero that you need to shut down, yes. But he's decided for a 2-2-1 this game. I think that makes a lot of sense because they don't quite have the burst damage to reliably lock down Dendy with that short silence and with the magic damage. Like you said, good base armor. I think that little bit longer of a stun is going to be really, really helpful here and potentially getting an earlier kill on Dendy. As he's going to demolish the top tier one by himself. So we'll see if this comes into play, but we're only going to see probably this 1 point in the silence. It's 2 seconds, it doesn't scale very well, it doesn't do a lot of damage, it's very expensive for Spirit's mana, so we're just going to see the 1 point here for a while, basically for as long as he cannot level it up, just because they have other sources of lockdown here, the root, and then just hoping to try and burst him down either with a troll or with just magnetize, boulder smash the whole lot.
Yeah, the lack of stuns, as you mentioned, probably an issue.
Dota are scanning. Radiant's
okay. As initially not to deal. Oh my goodness.
He did.
So it's going to be initially have to deal with something where like with a rolling boulder, the levels rather than the damage. I don't think the damage should be lacking either. So usually boulder smash is all about that damage.
I was just thinking, in case you wanted to go for the kill into the TP before he gets to the point of metamorphosis, you might want to actually take the third point in the boulder smash right for that increased damage. That's a lot more damage you're doing.
It's ability that scales best in damage is why people usually match it.
Yes, absolutely. You can see Laura with Shapeshift of Life, that haste rune. This is just a precursor of what's to come, however. He's already got Necro 2. Farming pretty nicely. He's not been able to put too much pressure on his tier 1. I like this play from Bait actually quite a bit. They just parked Duster in the mid lane here just to push the waves back out with the Illuminate. And people walk mid, and he just gives them some Chakra Magic. RDO's like, Coddle gave mana. He's like, alright, thank you very much. RDO back into the jungle. Because it's going to really actually hamper the Lycan's game. Not only does he, of course, want to push towers, because that's what he does best, and that's what he's itemizing for, but it's also going to allow the rest of BPB to play a lot more aggressively in the enemy jungle. As notice, don't worry about it, he's just popping the ulti to farm with the Maelstrom first item. Did not go for the Battle Fury.
Nope, Maelstrom is much better than playing early game draft, right? Battle Fury is way too slow. Maelstrom allows you to fight. Maelstrom still farm quite nicely, right? So it's not a bad item in general. I think most trolls are preferring this build over Battle Fury. It's popular. It's in an SA where I see it all the time anyway. But here, especially here in the CIS, Maelstrom is the trying to finish up Liberty, but he's getting a bit too much. It's actually bad. He's going to get punished here with a shapeshift to go for TSA as well. And it's going to death here. TSA unable to outrun the big bad wolf.
There we go. Nice play by Force Major. I've been kind of critical of him not hitting rolling boulders, but I will praise him there for the very clutch timing on the magnetic crit. Again, you can really get that combo out really, really quickly. It's basically just the cast time on Remnant, which does have a cast time. They don't appear instantly. It seems like sometimes they do. He's able to get the silence, the two-man silence quite crucially as well. Not only after Dendy, but most importantly there, the Centaur, who had used the ulti to reposition himself to get in between the two heroes and land a hook stomp. But because he was silenced for 2 seconds, that allowed Celebrity to get out the vacuum wall combo, and then it's a great counter initiation from there. All thanks to the Universe Spirit here.
Yeah, the fact that Terrablank's not joining these fights, and also the fact that Centaur kind of got caught in the middle of initiation, so he couldn't properly counter-initiate that, right? Really made it more difficult for Bait to really fight this, and we know that this is the time for PvP anyway. They should be much stronger than team. So Bait should take this into consideration when fighting. Even though you have the high ground, it's still not saving us like it. Now there's no shapeshift though, so it's a big save. Holy roller stuff. Wow, Force Major on Force Field. He tries to go for the storm, but it's not going to be good enough, and he's just going to end up dying there. Celebrity also suffering a fair chunk of damage, but not enough to kill him. You cannot dispel the 7 points and stacks with an intro.
Yeah, no, BPB, they don't want to be fighting here right now. They don't have any ultis, they don't have shapeshift, they didn't have magnetize, they don't have wall. I don't know, they really want to defend this tier 1 tower. They're doing a pretty damn good job with it as well. Here, Laura forcing back, sexy back, just with the necro just alone. Now they will be able to repel, push out from Bait. RDO's like, screw this, I'd rather go hit jungle creep. And he's going to go ahead and do that. He's already got the S and Y, so very good stats. Really, really good farm, as he always has. But the rest of his team, because they're not really fighting too well, which I would say is kind of what they do rather nicely here, at least in the early game.
But in the mid game, I'd say, right?
Okay, that's fair. It's still early on. It's still 13 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So there's still a time
now
where,
we've got Orchid.
yeah, there's still a time where like Shapeshift and Surge are such great abilities for destabilizing team fights, creating chaotic situations where you just kind of your numbers advantage because you have so much more mobility than your team. Later on, when recall becomes a bigger thing, when you have more map control, when Terrorblade actually can fight a bit better. I mean, he did go for S&Y, which is why he could take that fight, but he's still not ready. Right?
Yeah.
As opposed to Lycan, which is like, yeah, I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
I got my book.
and he shows up there in the first place because he's like, well, we've got all of our ultis and they have none of theirs, so if they fight us, we can probably win. But then he does something that's really smart that a lot of like regular players in Dota don't do, which is he realizes that he's being not efficient with his time. They're just kind of they're engaging the bait enough so that they feel like it might be worth it to stick around and maybe fight, because it's like, oh, the calculus, it looks good, right? We've got all the boxes checked here. But BBB, I don't think they wanted to fight there. They was the Earth Spirit, but even he's kind of just the sacrificial sort of space creation there.
I agree. You want to fight when your shapeshift is down. You don't want to fight to create space, quote unquote, right? To make the enemy feel busy so they can't reform.
Exactly.
Yeah, because TV's gonna outfarm you.
Yeah, and during that entire, it was only 30 seconds, and again, that's why I shot at RDO. Wasting time where the troll warlord is getting creep in the jungle, and RDO isn't.
Yeah, and now the EP next engagement, they don't know because they keep the lanes close, because, well, they're trying their best, right?
Yeah.
To do so, they can also take an engagement there. Here.
Level 1, yeah, very good reaction time there. There's only the one, so maybe he was expecting that one to hit, but you can still cast remnants and geomorph when you're rolling, so maybe he was just expecting it. I mean, it's ball lightning level 1. I would have thought I would have hit him too, to be honest.
Was that ward there before?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, so they just see
it's quite old.
I was gonna say, if it's nighttime, maybe they do find the channel.
There it is. There you go.
And TSA's dead. That's the EEU I.
Blue dagger now for Sexy Fat. I think they're still looking for a kill. Notice found in a pretty hard position. Going back into fight. Notice though, he doesn't want the Wild Ring Ripper. It was all a ruse.
Interesting choice by Sexy Fat, honestly, to go for I say interesting. Healer. To go for the Defiance as opposed to the Vanguard, because for magic damage, Spirit Darkseer, I mean, it's not bad. But compared to the Lycan's burst right now, which Crimson Guard completely saves you from, right? To some degree, the Troll as well, because he's an attack speed-based hero, which means Crimson Guard is great against him. And also, Crimson Guard is cheaper.
They do feel, you're completely right. I'm just maybe, as a pipe addict myself, that makes me sound really bad. But as someone who likes building pipe in their Dota 2 games, in the few games I play off lane, I mean, they've got a lot of early magic damage as well, right? It's not like the Centaur doesn't do too poorly, and Sexy Fetch going to let him teach away. It's not like he does too poorly.
He shows himself.
He does.
I'm here.
And you can see, we had 2 creep just kill himself thanks to the Retaliator. Right? So it's like, as long as he's in front and still tanking a little bit, I feel like it's not that bad. For the pipe, I guess they're more concerned with allowing the TB to live.
But I guess that's the point.
Because TB, he's got what? I mean, 25 armor already. What does he need a Crimson Guard for at this point? Really, what he needs is to make sure that the Earth Spirit in like 3 spells doesn't deal a quarter of his HP or a third of his HP.
Like, I'm not a big fan of pipe on offlaners, but there's an offlaner that can build pipe as first item. It's definitely
It is, yeah.
And I hope they're not recalling dead.
No, and they need one as well to save the TV. To give them that actual second, maybe even half a second to maybe get a Thunder off. That's the only thing I can see in this game.
No, but I agree with that point. I think that's a valid enough justification to build pipe first. Right?
Yeah.
Especially because he went for pipe. I mean, he went just for wood. Like, okay, weird, but if he's going for pipe or like, if they say that was like a Eternal Shroud, I would like,
yeah, and he doesn't go for the full pipe. He goes for Defiance, Blade Dagger, which is the
I don't think Crimson Guard later is useful. Maybe early you don't hear the trolls.
I agree, especially because right now for Babe, you're not cooldown dependent right now, but when Dendi starts to fall off naturally, as Stormtroopers do, not fall off, but not be able to kill cores consecutively. Nice silence there, which prevents the rolling boulders from going out. That should save his life. But when Dendi eventually can't really solo cores, like right now, if he jumps on the Troll is dead, but for now, Troll is going to be killing Cottle. Cottle is dead first. Wolves chasing down second. That Stampede has been used. We've got Boulder Smash in second, and another stun to use. Faster, but he is not going to be be able to run, even with the Hooded Defiance providing a little bit of a barrier, he will fall. What was I going on about? Oh, right. But eventually they are going to be a little bit dependent on having Metamorphosis up, or the Terror Wave up, or whatever, right, to be able to skirmish and fight. And the reason I would say right now, the air yeah. I would say, like,
depends on shape.
I would say that really, well, I kind of agree with you because of the presence of the Oracle. In most games, if this was like a Witch Doctor 5, right, I might go, well, maybe when we get BKBs on it, right? Yeah. That's really when a Stone Spirit's like, alright, your time is over, it's time for me to have fun. Yeah. But this game, I could definitely see it. I feel like having the Crimson is going to be nice because right now that downtime is incredibly punishing. I mean, we've already got a Necro 3-up and Wolves from Lycan. Darkseer pushes the lanes very quickly. Troll Warlord does a ton of damage with Fervor, so he's able to do that very nicely. So having the block or the guard for your buildings can buy you maybe up to an extra 30 seconds here, which is not an insignificant amount of time here, especially when you're waiting for Metamorphosis to come on. So I still like the idea for the Crimson, but pipe first.
I agree. That was a comment I agree with you a while ago. I was going to say here that the Prodigy right now are getting to the point where they're probably strongest and you still cannot properly fight. Yeah, that's interesting to go for a sharp in this game. I can see that for a TV, honestly, if you're trying to play around. Oh, we did it! We saw it! That was vacuum in. Yeah, we might have been light, but we did see it. Okay. Richie is the happiest man in the world. They catch the call as well. I think Duster is in trouble. Yeah. Because the Duster actually is a really easy game. It's really easy to murder him with an Earth Spirit and the like. Yeah. And now it's starting to get difficult for me. I think there's a lot of this game. I like Fate's lineup because the other range lineup for that team is interesting one. Where you start with the lanes, you ignore any flies, you kind of split push as much as you can with Storm, Shadow Demon, and Auto, and you try to watch Shadow Demon and call as much as possible. Well, they're not playing that way, right? Like, even if your draft has the ability to elongate this game, if you take too long to start doing that, because you're like, oh, we can still take this, we can still play this normally, that's when you start losing against these fast lineups. So this is starting to be a mistake, I think.
You know, Denji's got the Kaya now, as he's going to get vacuumed out of the Ball of Lightning. Aegis in the inventory unnoticed. He's got his 10-second BKB ready to go. Celebrity with the mechanisms, going to be doubling back now for the Aghanim Scepter. Looks like AC is nearly completed for Laurel, so a lot of big items. He's not doing too poorly yet either. He is going to be going for... Hold on, I'm very confused here. Eggs first, and then BKB?
Yeah, that's Axe.
Okay.
I think the Axe...
Oh, there it is. Okay, that's why. I was like...
I think the Axe this game is really, really good. Because be that 10-second metamorphosis. The Terror Wave is fantastic because it geeks Lycan out back into his base, right, when he's shapeshifted with a Terror Wave. But also, having a 10-second metamorphosis means any attempt with shapeshift, right, that you can mitigate with a simple meta or with a simple Terror Wave is good enough, and you don't have to waste the meta, and you can still use the meta for defending high ground or dealing with a troll or whatever it is. And being Prodigy depends a lot on Lycan right now. So let's know to start to be.
VPP, they're going to go for a bit of a kill here as they get the silence on a sexy bet. He pops a full pipe, though, and then is dropping onto the Earth Spirit. They might bait him in, or they might be just leaving him for dead. It's bait. Laurel's going to show underneath the tier 2 tower, bring him smoke, and throw him back out here on the side of Fate. What was I going to say here? Well, a really good point that I wanted to continue on. Yes. Right. I should know this. But if Troll is in his ulti, if he's battle trance and he gets feared, you know what priority? Is it the fear? He gets feared, but he's also...
Dyer's bottom tower.
Oh, yeah, make it fear.
Okay. Duster likely to die here.
Dyer's bottom tower is under attack.
I'm pretty certain as well. Duster should be dead here. Yep.
Oh, I think he's starting to cut lanes right now, which is just really good job hitting Lycan. Terror Wave is not going to hit him though, and instead he just avoids it really easily. Terror Wave is not fast enough.
Top tower has fallen.
You have to force Terror Wave right on Lycan's on top of you, otherwise it won't work. He's so fast. He's run really easily, much like Ravage.
725, man. That's his move speed, not my MMR.
No, and that bar is much lower.
That's true. They can get this TC tower relatively easily. Luckily, we only use the Terror Wave there, so we still have the meta. The Terror Wave, though, having a pretty long cooldown, pretty comparable cooldown as well. Really needs his Kyle to give him more mana to get that cooldown down a little bit more. Does that work, actually? It does. It completely works with Terror Wave. Alright, so that's actually very, very useful.
Yeah,
Dyer's
that's part of the
bottom
combo
tower
model,
is
right?
under
It's like,
attack.
oh, I have double mana now, they both get refreshed,
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
magic.
That's pretty nice. This is kind of what I'm talking about here is we see with the 2 lives that they lost there, they already lose 2 tier 2 towers. And that's all the other towers already. And that's TTP. They're looking for a bit more here. We've still got Aegis on our troll warlord. This is going to be good for another minute and a half or just thereabouts. Down goes the tier 3 tower. Right before I could even finish that sentence, they're going to be looking to now gain the back line. So that's a with links on for 2. That's not that inject in. He's obviously vacuum. Oh no, now the clip. It's easy. No, wait, it's already up either way. He's going to get the disruption. Notice though, he's going to be tackled on over to the sexy foul. REO, he's got thunder, but he's not going to be able to use it. I don't know. With the double kill, force neutral, locking down the backliners again. Misses the rolling boulder. That's going to allow Duster to TP away. Just barely. The Debbie will not be as lucky. He's going to catch it. And look at the critical damage coming in with all that minus armor they've got.
How you actually start to struggle, how you defend this thing. They took too long to realize they were losing. Making it a great game completely. Now they're going to kill Duster and take as much game.
I think it is game. None of these guys have buyback armor. Even if they do, there's no thunder. Or terribly for that matter.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this.
This is magnificent.
This Megas at least. All they've been doing
Dyer's
is
top
like,
tower
the
is
past
under attack.
5-10 minutes, seems like they've totally forgotten what lineup they're playing against, and they've just been trying to take defense, which did not work out. Not cutting lanes, not really threatening the lane
Dyer's
at
top
all.
barracks are under attack.
Alright, I mean, the lineup is okay to play a safe lineup, but I think in this game, to me, you played a bit too safe. And they got us before the nice sector. TSA, stampede, doesn't matter, he gets killed in the middle of the stampede, and then just Falcon diving down because they can't set up the perception Earth Spirit.
Dyer's middle tower is
Yeah,
under attack.
he is right back in there.
It's still a game though.
Yeah, it is very much
He
still
took a
game.
big, he's made it 25.
Yep.
Yeah, chuckling.
They're going to go ahead and walk away. If needed, they can always come back. There's Aegis being reclaimed. Notice, though, it's not going to stop them. In fact, he's not shooting the ultimate. Look at the damage! Oh, GG is called. RDO gets sent to the stratosphere by one punch
Dyer's
man.
middle tower is
They
under
will fall in game number 1 here to DPP. 25 minutes, but what a snowball.
Radiant
I points out the draft, right? In like the one draft might be safer, and the big draft is we usually side with the safer draft. But if you can play this really well, if you Prodigy, this is how they take games. They take games.
刚讲 NC。
me feel like crazy, dumb and lazy about you. Makes me check out on my phone. Maybe something about you makes me feel like crazy, dumb and lazy about you. Makes me check out on my phone. Ring my phone again. It's you. It's 3 a.m. I think you feel the same. You feel the same, babe. Something in my mind tell me that you are the perfect one. I can't get you out. I will never leave aside my love.
moods can change like the seasons, and sometimes you need a very specific playlist to match your vibe. Maybe an autumn rainy day playlist, or a winter holiday playlist, or a springtime hip-hop playlist, or a summer beach day playlist. Yeah, we've already made all of those, and more, for you. Download the YouTube Music app to find them, the new music streaming app, made by YouTube.
When you feel it's hopeless, when you think that you lost, oh, I will take your hand and we'll rise up from the dust. Oh, here we go, 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 let us heal and grow. You won't be alone, we're unstoppable.
10 seconds.
Don't be afraid to show what we're going for. This is what we know. Here we come and
You should give me dashboard access, dude.
Radiant team back. Dire team back.
It's just pretty.
It's a prediction? Oh, it should be prediction, because obviously a poll wouldn't give you the same thing.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Right?
Hello guys, welcome back to the lower division of the Eastern watching game between Bait and Prodigy, and we're still stuck in traffic, which is why
I'm not looking at my phone, you can only look at my phone while driving. What I'm actually doing is adjusting the fuel intake here on the engine to put it into eco mode. Because I don't want to be wasting energy in the city when we're just sitting still in traffic.
that's very ecologically responsible. Some people are asking about seatbelt, by the way.
Dire team pick.
Fact ways. Because we have these special for
Yeah, what are you guys, cops or something?
Yeah. Also, if you come to Malaysia, you'll understand not wearing seatbelt. That's part of the culture, I think, the language.
Part of the culture is here in Dota, Dendy in the mid lane. Fortunately here for game, it's true. I mean, come on, Dendy in the mid lane?
I'm not gonna be
Oh, come on. How is this supposed to segue from Malaysia to this game?
Move on.
Any case here, if you liked that one, go ahead and let me know in the chat. It'll make me feel better. For
5
now, though,
seconds
what'll make
remaining.
Base feel a little bit better is getting a little bit of a better start here to game number 2. And our draft is now underway. Why don't we look?
Oh, we're actually moving to the draft. Let's go. Let's
That's
go.
the wrong one.
Traffic finally moved.
Traffic is finally moving, and now we're going to the draft here.
Ah, that was really good timing. The Prodigy versus Bait. The game's about to draft is just beginning. Nick Sass and Rubik are the first picks. Neither of which defines anything because they're both picks that Rubik honestly
team pick.
thinks it's probably a bit more Rubik, but not by much. And Bait does love the Rubik when they're playing on 5-up, and they also, but I didn't like it much as they played a couple times. I'm not really sure about TSA.
It's one of his most played heroes.
It's one of his most played. So I guess any position for you.
Granted, TSA is extremely new to the scene.
Yeah, so that's why his stats are.
He's got, so usually like when you
5
see like newer
seconds
players and you
remaining.
like try and do a deep delve on them and like Dota buff, I'm sure there's like maybe like a couple in chat as well. But if you like are ever curious and you look at some of the teams, yeah, a lot of the veterans do, and a lot of the Dota 2 watching veterans. Oh, it's a new name. Who is this guy? You take a look at their Dota 2 page, and normally it's like, oh, they only have like 100-something matches, but like 80-something of these are tagged as amateur, right?
Yeah,
Which
exactly.
means it's like your
Radiant team
I mean,
back.
maybe $100 prize pools. Normally, like your league, right? I mean, just casual leagues.
Yep.
For this guy, interestingly enough, what I saw on his page was he's got, I think, like less than 200 games played, but the majority of them are already professional or premium tier tagged. So he basically just was straight
10
into it
seconds
already
remaining.
on top of, or involved in the pro scene. And I think that's I don't know. I
5
mean, it's
seconds
still
remaining.
unwritten history. But I'm eager to see how TSA's career will develop from here. He, I believe, hails from the Russian Federation, according to his flag on Dota Buff. Of course, that can change. You can set that manually, so that might not be accurate. But as far as I know, he is Russian.
Well, the Prodigy, they took game 1 pretty well. They showed some relatively creative drafts. I think what I like about this team, as I always mention, that they have their own defined style of play. Yes, it might be simple, like, oh, my liking buys books and goes burr, but the reality is that being able to play these kind of early game drafts as effectively, ignoring the lanes, trying to punish enemy mistakes, etc., is still pretty impressive. Most of this time, though, since Bait has second pick, and therefore the best way, this is the best kind of draft to pick a Terrorblade second pick. It's going to print him with 3 bans. That's why you probably take away Terrorblade. So important to note, RDO will have to expand his hero.
5 seconds remaining.
Maybe I heard my plea. Well, no, we're going to force RDO to pick something else. Not that RDO has a bad pull here, but
No, he really doesn't.
he just really loves Terror.
He just really likes the TBA. Yeah, I mean, he really likes a Spectre as well. That's not really pickable for much these days, though, I
I mean,
think.
RDO is like, if you compare the two Terrorblades, or the two big Terrorblade players, particularly Billion, which is Costabile and RDO, Costabile is definitely much more of the mid-game player besides the T. Yes, he's good as Spectre, he can play these heroes well, but RDO has always been closer to like Raven, if you know from SCA, right? One of those really hard carries and just game. You know, TD style of play. He's the really someone that's looking to farm consistently, not make any mistake, carry the game up.
Yeah. I do want to mention as well, because we haven't brought it up yet, that Bait no longer have a coach.
Not a coach, man.
Manager, thank you.
He decided to leave the seat. He allegedly said that he was by. He said that he was by. They decided to part ways. The best. A very serious issue. And first, it seems like Bait's not doing great right now, but I don't think it's particularly with his team.
No, I don't think, I don't mean to imply a correlation there or anything. And as you said, mental health very important, especially in a field like esports where it can feel like you're always on, right? It's very little.
Tell me about it. When's my weekend again?
There could be very little time off and stuff like that. Speaking of the weekend, you know what you like on the weekend here? Some nice little scrambled eggs in the morning. That's what we got for VPP. Mars and Phoenix going to be the combos here for the team fight.
We can only eat white toast. Weekend.
Is
I
that-
hear myself in the
is
street.
that- well, that's a very American thing, I think. Get a big old breakfast on the weekend, go to a nice diner.
5 seconds remaining.
Spain would never have. Like, when you scrambled eggs, it's like.
Do you have huevos rancheros in Spain?
That is Mexican. Order them if you want to.
Pretty good.
Rancheros? Like, you can.
Alright.
I usually just in Spain the kind of the base meal is get some sort of sausage and then add anything that gives you a bunch of cholesterol, put it all into one plate, and you
Very nice.
with bread.
Very nice.
And usually
tomato.
and
olive oil.
whatever you have on that plate, you also dip into the cup.
Very
I've
nice.
seen my dad dip chorizo in coffee. No shame whatsoever.
Chorizo is a pork sausage for the...
Yes,
the
like a
people.
slightly spicy pork sauce.
It's
It's like pepperoni but spiced.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going to see any scrambled eggs here in this draft. Well,
No indicators as of now.
That's exactly my segue. Look at that. That time I nailed it.
You know what? I like to pick up Deuce again. I don't mix it well, but Deuce is great against Mars, so isn't he? It's really well, and RDO loves Deuce.
Yeah.
And it suits well with your draft because Tyler is great at protecting her, and also.
The next is...
Radiant team pick.
Yeah.
I like the
Okay.
Arc Warden.
Okay.
That's the Arc... I think that's an RDO here.
That's an RDO.
Yeah, I
He
was
loves
gonna say,
the Arc Warden.
I don't know if Dendy plays too much Arc Warden.
I don't know.
But I know for sure that that's on RDO as well. Yeah, so there's an egg hitter, right? Because of course the clone does count as a full hero for things
10
like
seconds
getting egg,
remaining.
but you can actually chew through it very quickly. Doesn't dispel you, of course, when you
5
summon the
seconds
clone,
remaining.
but the new clone spawns without any debuffs, so he get to hit an egg immediately.
Changed that a while.
Oh, what?
They changed that a while.
Radiant team
Am I still correct on that though?
I think so. I'm saying that they changed that. I'm pretty sure they changed it.
Okay,
To be
okay.
just note. The Prodigy, they pick up I think, Carry Bloodseeker, which is a good answer to the Arc Warden, because with Arc Warden, really a way to beat him is just get close to him. It's very similar to how you play Drow.
10
And
seconds
frankly,
remaining.
most carries in the metagame, or general, counter Arc Warden. Any carry that
5
can get
seconds
close to you
remaining.
pretty much counters you. But what Bloodseeker does especially well is that even if you go for the Shard nowadays, the Shard from Arc Warden really counters Ricky, banned, of course. EA or
Dire
anti-mage,
team back.
because you push them out and they have to walk towards you, which they hate doing because they depend on their blink's ability. However, with Bloodseeker, not the case. With his extreme movement speed on Thurs, you walk in, he pushes you out with a shard, no big deal, you walk back in, like it's nobody's business, right? You have so much mobility. And even with Hurricane Price Mark Warden, which is usually the build to deal with these kind of heroes, not really useful against Bloodseeker. So it's a pretty solid pick. Not considered traditionally an awkward encounter, because he's not often played as a carry, but I think in this game it's a good idea.
He provides some solid zoning as well to keep Ruvik undying, and even to some degree the Tidehunter at bay with the Blood Right, especially in the laning stage. Tide's quite a tanky boy, so we can afford to tank a few of the Blood Rights, but eventually that pure damage does add up, so he's not going to be wanting to stand them for too long. Of course, I think this is actually probably a safe lane Bloodseeker, I think.
I think it's a carry Bloodseeker. It's most likely what has been played these days, right?
It has, yeah.
Bloodseeker. We've seen it much more so than before. I think people are starting to try it. People know it's good, but I'm surprised with the amount of safe lane Bloodseekers I see that honestly don't. Like when I saw, again, not trying to throw flame here, but I remember seeing Miracle on Bloodseeker. I was like, I don't know if you ever practiced this here, like in the way it's supposed to be played now. And then you compare him to someone like Hector playing Bloodseeker, which was incredible, or we've seen some really big difference in the performances with it. I think people assume he's a very easy hero to play because he is basic in a sense, but his itemization is difficult. When you have to fight, when your power spikes kind of are not easy either. I don't think this hero is like the I can just pick it and I've never played him before. Because the hero depends a lot on the feels that you, right? Do I feel like I'm strong here? Do I feel like I can fight here? Should I be farming here? Should I be fighting? Because you can farm really fast, but you need to take advantage of your lane, etc., etc. So,
yeah, he's pretty gankable as well.
Yes.
As far as like an offlaner would go, especially if you're going to be playing him in that role, he doesn't really provide you the sort of save or the sort of sustain that most offlaners naturally have. Like if you take a look at the Mars, right, he can fear you, push you away. Even sometimes the gods with you because you're not to create a little bit of space for him to just safely TP. Whereas Bloodseeker, he really doesn't have any of that. So it can be hard, like you're saying, for you to get that combo. It probably is a carry Bloodseeker though, of course, since we already have the Mars pick. Could still be a mid lane Mars, there's a tiny bit of flexibility, but with banning both of these spirits here, it's likely to be...
Oh,
okay.
Interesting. I mean, V Project actually, I believe it was them who ran tomorrow. I think we already cast the word game. No, once. Because I remember seeing this pick before on this loaded. But I don't know if it was them.
We've definitely seen it in the lower division. I'm unfortunately, my memory is not as clear as yours. I can't remember who it was. It was a mid lane sniper, though.
It was a mid lane sniper. Interesting choice, huh? I mean, he's really good against Tombstone, right? So that's a Tide is not as strong as Sniper until you get the Blink Dagger. Sniper can usually deal with Arc Warden decently because you need to MK the bubble. I mean, usually Arc Warden counters ranged heroes, but not in the case of you have too much.
Exactly, yeah. Way too much range.
I actually kind of like the Prodigy draft. I mean, this time I think you don't have as consistent a push. So even though you have an early-ish oriented draft, you're not going to be able to fit. But I also don't think that matters too much to you because you actually have some pretty solid late game kill. Bloodseeker's kill is fine now, and so does Sniper. I'm not really sure who I'm siding with it.
I'm not too sure either, because I think even no matter what happens, if VPP have an awesome game, Celebrity's going to be dying all the time. If Bait have an awesome game, Celebrity's also going to be dying all the time. And that makes it hard for me, because it's like, you look at all the counter initiation, a Tidehunter, a Rubik for a lift, he's got some good spells to steal here, Arc Warden, who loves to initiate versus heroes that like to go in alone, like the Mars, he's not going to have backup in there, so the Flux is going to tear through him. He's just solely going to be useful for a setup that initial sort of starts the team fight here. DSA is going to need to move in, get off, and Sniper Laurel ideally just sits on his laurels and just right clicks people from outside the arena, right? That's his dream game. But either way, I mean, I don't know, because the problem is if your Mars dies, that's it. That's all your initiation. Maybe with the Nyx Assassin, you can get off to like you try and catch your enemies off guard. But I would say in professional games where they know where the Nyx wants to be playing, they're going to have sentries down, they're going to have detection on them all the time. It's not going to be as for a lot of me. I don't know. To me, this game really kind of rests in the hands of Celebrity and this offlane Mars, and how good of a start you can get.
Yeah, we'll see. I think that V Project once again can really easily take over the early mid game, but the lanes matter a lot, and I do find that Bait has stronger supports for lanes, particularly at Dying, who's gonna, I'm gonna say crush. Your grace is then I would certainly say that the Undying is a pretty good match with person. And the Knicks won't be able to do much against Undying either. Actually, nothing at all. I bet you Mana Burn and make kind of a useless creep, which is your ideal situation, but even then you're not able to trade.
Yeah, that's true. It is it's a niche forward game style, like you're saying.
If I'm honest, last game they didn't look too great on bait though, especially against this early. But they weren't really ready to a long game. I think this game with Arc Warden's a bit easier because you don't need to do much. Just bubble the towers and you're fine.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but I feel like it's a lot of the same sort of notes you're hitting, I would say, right? Is last game, RDO, he needs plenty of space, he needs to get that first farming item, then he needs to move on to start to carry the game. And a hero like the Arc Warden is still capable of doing that, but you can see, I mean, his first item's the Midas, right? Not exactly the go-to fighting item on really any core.
No, of course not. If you really want to play a fast Arc Warden, you have to go for a build that nobody builds.
The battle begins.
Yeah.
But again, it sucks because honestly the sniper is not really a farming core when you're in mid. Usually the way the sniper is played is much more huge early game power spike. We used to see the last build that was popular in sniper as the Hag stupidity was the right? Or triple 4 rate bands even sometimes back then you'd actually use Aquila because obviously an item, and you just used to gank, use passive, very effective. Honestly, you can play a similar variation of it now. I think it's going for Mage Slayer. Okay, yes, this is definitely the guy who plays Sniper a lot. Because we also saw the Mage Slayer Sniper.
It is, it's pretty good. Dendy goes, you try and outblock me in the mid lane? No.
And Sniper's like, care,
I'm Sniper.
You know, he's the most annoying hero to last hit against because his last hits depend entirely on luck. Because you calculate last hits based on your headshot, right? Of course, you don't actually calculate it based on your base damage, and then you would lose. So most of the time, whether you get a deny or hit or a last hit, it's based on did you get the headshot from. And that's so stupid. How do you predict that, man? Oh my goodness, this hero is dumb.
Well, you've got to what's it called? You got to prime them, right?
Yeah.
If you don't headshot twice in a row,
You know it's hard.
you know it's coming.
It's pseudo RG, as we always say. There's only one ability is pseudo RG in the game. That's Cranium Basher.
Yeah, you know me, man. That's how I make all my money playing. The next one's gotta be a blackjack.
Oh my goodness. Don't actually do that.
Don't actually do that.
That is a big sunk cost fallacy.
Exactly, but in Dota it actually exists.
And Dota actually exists, but in life, there's sort of thing, a pseudo RG life is unfair compared to RG.
Yeah, it's very true. TSA here started out with the brown boots, which I do really like. That's going to make life a little bit harder for our Phoenix, who's going to struggle to actually be able to contest. I mean, TSA already paying off the boots for himself, getting the courier kill onto notice. That's going to cut his passive. Actually, doesn't cut passive anymore. Might be as well. You do see the Gut Banker Smash build being the preferred one these days as well. Phoenix is not going to really be able to do much against a lot of the damage as well that they have here in this lane. That's going to be kind of the scary part as well for our Bloodseeker. Got good sustain if he can actually get last hits. But the Phoenix, he just brings damage. And yes, the attack speed slow in some lanes is really good, particularly against a Slardar, right, for example, or against a Tusk, right? That's what we always saw to counter the IO Tusk when we saw that in last match. This lane is just a lot of magic damage and just physical damage not tied to the right clicks here.
That's why, in this lane, I don't imagine there's going to be too much kill potential from either side unless you forward that here, right? Because Phoenix is a really good defensive support as well. But in the top lane, that's where they are really going to try to play this aggressively, right? Arc Warden is actually kind of strong in the lane against melee heroes. And if Undying gets enough of his K-stacks, then you can probably kill the Mars if he makes a mistake here. But RDO probably waiting for that level 6 power spike.
Oh yeah, and then he's gonna, you didn't save mana for that one, as you can see. In the mana burn, like you said.
Yeah, that's the right build. Because then Duster becomes a creep, and Duster's like, what do I do now? Do I commit suicide? But I mangle to the lane? Like, cry?
Yeah. And of course, denying himself, quote unquote, underneath tier 2 tower, tier 1 tower to come back to the lane with full HP and mana to be able to do something, because you're right, he doesn't do a whole lot for the lane. Your RDO in trouble. Oh, he's got plenty of mana as well, so he preempted this one. That's going to save RDO. Force Manager taking a bit of damage. He's going to be okay here as well. He's got his buddy to walk him home.
Flux in the long lane, it's not that great. Unless you, it's only good if there's only a single hero there. Alright. But when you're playing as an offlane, unless the offlane doesn't know what Flux does, you're always going to be going together.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why in pubs, if you play a low-level Arc Warden, it's great. Because everyone's like, run away from the Flux target! Run away from him!
Nobody knows what Flux does. Everyone runs away from Flux, and they also run away from an Oracle.
No, that's a very common.
Yeah.
But the Oracle thing is more of a pride thing, it seems like. Whereas the Flux thing is just plain ignorance. You get so many free kills in our court in the lower levels that are not good.
Hastings going to spawn top. We'll see what Lara will make use of this. Looking to find yes versus Dandy, but there's going to be first blood off lane. Duster will snag that one. RDO in danger as well as becoming second blood rather. We had the spear, but not really a great lineup there to throw it. So he's good restraint showing off celebrity. He's not got plenty of mana to be using. He's maybe going to give his support that. I didn't know it worked that way. I only thought supports could give healing cells.
No, it turns out you can actually give it the supports too.
I just don't believe that.
Yeah, that was, so the top lane is working as we said. The mana burn is making Undying not so useful, and even though Undying is a good match against Mars, who cares? Nyx exists here. Yep, they're killing RDO again. RDO went for the early bubble, which also makes it much more difficult for him to put any aggression on. So you don't punish aggression as hard, instead you just try to survive. They do kill Force Major. Okay, that's nice, but you lost RDO twice already. Or sorry, once already. TSA in the bottom lane might die, last game taken here by TSA, and Notice doesn't really know what to do against his Tidehunter, because I don't hurt him at all.
Yep, he's like, oh, I'm really fast because I thought, oh, wait, it's a Tidehunter. I mean, look at this. Yeah.
Once you get phase boost though, that happens to regenerate when you activate them, of course, and then that allows you to relatively easily take advantage of your movement speed and avoid those anchor smashes. But with a range increase on anchor smash, as a Bloodseeker, it's much more difficult. Because now actually, look at that, actually doesn't seem melee at all, alright?
Well, it's like Monkey King's melee.
It's like Monkey King's melee.
Well, that's probably what they needed to do. It's like Ice Rock. Why is Monkey King able to hit me, but I can't anchor smash? I got an anchor, and this guy picked up a stake from the jungle, called it his own, and he's able to hit me with it.
Yeah, but he didn't carve this stake, right? Whereas you just seem to like.
I see. He used one of the artificer's hammers.
Yeah, you picked up an anchor from like the bottom of the sea for no reason, right? I don't think Ty put that much effort into it.
He probably did. It's probably
Duster
from the ship that he stole.
I feel Honka's Duster.
That's true.
Let's see, headshots. Yep, you got a lucky headshot there with right off the kill with the cold snap. Does a save Duster instead his Law's in trouble. And he has the vision thanks to the Nyx. That's all they wanted. Assassinate. Will guarantee the kill. Now Dandy overextending. Underestimating the power of a sniper. He does a tornado fairy fires ready for Laurel. That's not going to save his life. But in exchange, I think that he might just die to the base assassin. Force Major, last hit, will do the trick. And I would say it's a win for you, Prodigy. You still get a kill on Dandy. I mean, he does get the experience of the Sniper, but Sniper got the kill on Undying beforehand, so he's not bad about that. And Sniper respawns earlier, which means goes back to the left.
Yeah, I would say so. Did anyone? Yeah, the Undying. No, he just back top lane. Yeah, I would say it's a small one for V. Good. Just because you just have one more kill, right?
You're welcome!
Nice telekinesis there to stop the kill coming. He's going to try anyway, only hits Duster. Force Major.
Stay near the creeps!
Oh.
Don't move for the creeps!
Oh, he knows. He's played against this guy once or twice. The Arc Warden, that is.
I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, Force Major, he's still a spike Arc, so he's not too worried about Arc Warden. If you can mitigate the level 6 peak, honestly, Arc Warden does not feel like such a
yeah, it's a lot like the Visage, where he's going to try and kill you right at level 6, and you need to kind of run away from him. But then after that, he's fine. And they're actually kind of delaying the level 6 just a little bit now with this pseudo tri-lane they've got going. I hesitate to call it a tri-lane because, of course, it's 7 minutes, 30 seconds in. The Tidehunter doesn't really need anyone bottom anymore, so he's best off getting solo experience. So the Rubik's just trying to do something here. And that's why he's staying so far away out of XP range, right? So well played to TSA for acknowledging this, but even then, it's still good. Just slightly slow down RDO's level 6 tier.
The build from Arc Warden here with the ball are not great at taking advantage of level 6. It's a bit more of a farming build, so I think they already acknowledge that this is not going to be an easy game for the Arc Warden.
They've also booted the Tidehunter out of the lane using Rupture.
Can't dispel that, so
No.
stuck on that Kraken Shell.
Would try. He's going to have the arena in 10 more seconds, but again, 2 supports here.
Dyer's
Going
bottom
away from the
tower
Arc
is
Warden,
under
who's
attack.
extremely vulnerable to that combo. Doesn't really like being inside of an arena. More of a
Okay, he's actually early this time. Notice, yep, that's going to be a kill relatively easily for Dandy. Bit of a mistake from Notice to, first of all, I mean, this is the BSJ, right? Whenever he has to do, don't touch the tier 1 off lane, right? Unless you have a team with behind you, you
Dyer's middle tower is under
look at
attack.
Volker, like plus West, he's really fast at rotating, and Bloodseeker is not great against him with Tornado, so. Thinking about it. Slightly more than level 6 Arc Warden though. We've been pointing at this whole game and he's still getting the kill.
there. Assassination is just going to catch him. Down he goes. TV is canceled. Laurel
Is
here.
under attack.
Now set to work on the mid tier 1 tower as they're going to play aggressive top
Dyer's
lane.
middle tower is under attack.
DPC is going to make an effort for the tower, maybe? No, probably not on this wave. I think it's a little low. But then, like you said, he rotates nice and early. Notice caught off guard there by the Koloks West invaders. He also gives him his first 2 turn charges, which is pretty consequential as well. His TSA is most likely to die here as well. He's got some big charges. I still gotta get off though.
This Cypher's playing exactly like I expected. He's also getting Uber Eats to his lane where he's getting free feed. I don't know. These plays I don't think are the best ones by Bait, but also Laurel is playing extremely aggressively, which is exactly how you expect this man.
Dyer's top tower is under
And
attack.
actually, interestingly enough, in Brazil, HFN, when he used to play mid for a while, carry for SG, he actually used to love the mid lane. I think he would go for a Midas, and he played like a really aggressive, but also farmy sniper, which is something that we're seeing here as well. He's staying in his lane, he's playing static in that sense, but he's also punishing anyone that comes here, and he's trying to put as much pressure to the tower as possible. Laurel's going for the illusion room, Dendi, I don't know if you thought he could get that, then he just gets BB guns to the face.
Yeah, he was looking to maybe cold snaps out of the kill, but dying too
Dyer's
far
top
away.
tower is under
Unfortunately,
attack.
your position 5 isn't really conducive to getting you kills, just because Tombstone is kind of mitigated by the sniper, especially in the early game. That's why he's only put 2. Your Rubik is not bad for sure, but he's got to get real close to someone before he can actually hit him with the teleportation. That's really difficult here, especially, again, versus a sniper who can actually outrange just about everyone. Force Major somehow sneaks through the sentry coverage here. No one's scouting him, so he's going to be able to see RDO farming in the triangle. He's going to get the go-ahead for VTP then to start sieging this top tier 1 tower with the wagon. They're going to have this one pretty easily. Middle lane, VTP are going to do well to hold here. They actually fortify because they're set to get 2 towers here. Once again, the deny, look at the deny on the tier 1 tower. Look for the kill on the device. Gets the spike carapace done off, but still gets mad right. In the meantime, then, Big is set to work on the bottom tier 1 tower. They're trying to contest this one, and RDO is going to be a rupture outcome to the arena of blood, and fire to this one. RDOs will be spilled. There's the beginning of the assassinate, trying to find Sexy Fett, who has the rabbit. Doesn't really have any follow if you were to use it, so he's just going to have to stand and take his bet. They do get a tier 1 tower at the very least. Was it denied? Nope. They actually got the tower themselves. So they deny the tower in the middle lane. They lose top and mid in exchange for the tower bottom, as well as a kill on Airy. So kind of bad couple of 2 minutes there.
Radiant's
Big.
middle tower is
And
under
that's
attack.
the result of, I don't know, what would you say? Because it's kind of like mismanaging your level 6 power spikes, I would say.
It's just, I'd say that much like last time, Bait doesn't know when their power spikes kind of, so they always overextend ever so late with a team like PvP who are pretty hardcore.
Yeah, that's what I see. Yeah, for sure, because they siege mid and top at the same time. TP bot get the kill. That's amazing.
Exactly. I also find that in this particular situation, like the map control matters much more for two.
Dyer's bottom tower is under attack.
He might be dead. He's going to have
That's what's going to happen, actually. That's pretty smart. He didn't know they don't have much catch. Never mind. I'm sorry, Force Major. I apologize for that.
Rubik and the Invoker here, and Ravage, I suppose, if you want to count it, which, let's count it, I feel like it's fair, are going to be only 2 sources of power. That's slowing down the Tornado catches Supernova, counted down by the Ravage, the Supernova just saving it from Duster, and there's a great Icarus dive. Unfortunately, Sexy sets up for the return kill now onto Sexy Fett. Dendy's already fallen. It looks like Duster's next. The Fable is going to make him take a little bit while longer, as well as the Soul Rip, but eventually Dennis, with all the thirst movement speed in the world, will be able to get the kill. 2 kills for him, as 3-year-old will fall in the middle lane, and he's the offlaner and the sniper.
VTP is looking quite powerful right now. They managed to take the early game by storm. Bloodseeker's really well farmed, honestly. Good timing for Maelstrom. Usually, what I've seen is that you, as a Bloodseeker, you want to get a minute 20, you want to have Maelstrom plus BKB. Ideally, you have one other item, like usually Shotgun Gun. It's a very popular build. And if you can't get to that, then you're starting to fall off a bit. You're taking advantage of this guy's early game, his farm potential. Game, I don't see a problem. And with Mage Slayer, I think completed, if not almost completed. Almost completed, there we go. Once he has that, Rubik and Radiant's damage are going to be really good early. To some degree, even our Warden, right? Because early already depends more on the Smart Grades and the Fluxes. I actually really like how he's playing this stuff. And Bait, I like what Dendy's doing right now. He's keeping the mid lane push, make sure he's got some out control despite the lack of tower. So that's good for Bait. But this game, they don't want to give the enemy team the freedom they gave him in the first game. But it's still you playing a late game draft against Nerf.
Yeah, they're trying to avoid that issue. And now with the Midas, at least, a couple more minutes of that being really far behind, even though it's only a 2k natural difference, because it's good for the attack speed, but, you know, there are better items you can build for attack speed in terms of speed. Force Major is likely to be killed by a little bit of time, bet that up at 10, but no chance to use it. Down he goes, Dandy with the kill there. So Ardu, at least this game, compared to last, he is going to be able to accelerate his farm from this out. But it's still kind of a dicey few minutes for him here until he's actually able to pick up his next item, which is going to be the Maelstrom.
Spear of Barcelona actually impaled the feet to kill him. Celebrity doesn't know what to do. Against the cold snap, he is just dead. And with that phase going to be taken probably easily to
I'll call it 3. They rotate away from the next kill in the bottom lane. I'll call it 3.
That's true. It's on the offensive support, so VP at least is keeping that kind of space well. They're giving all the safe farm to their two most important. And with a draftless Sniper Bloodseeker, Mars kind of has to play a 3-point. Right? Because you're going to have to give all the farm to these two. Mage Slayer is now up, and we'll see the power of this item on Sniper. We already saw Laurel play this exact build last time, and honestly, it was really good. I liked it. He lost the game, mind you, but I still think the Mage Slayer, it's like a diffusal play on Sniper, but more defensive, right? Actually, his attack a surprising amount of damage.
Now our Rubik is a little bit more deadly here, dramatically increasing kill potential on the Sniper here with the Angel Lens alone. He's going to get another level up here at 15. I imagine he's going to take the type cast range rather than the base damage. That's not probably going to be too useful for him. A little bit of trickiness business there as it did all his mana burned and will.
And Duster will be killed and assassinated as VPP are unable to really execute their team fight there. Thanks to a beautiful Impale counter initiation by TS.
Yeah, very well done there. The Ravage as well, making sure that the arena doesn't come off, catching them off guard. There was nowhere near enough mana for Supernova though, so that was just like a one-way trip for our Phoenix.
Yeah, not sure. I mean, I saw it. I think he had. Yeah, he had the stake, that's well.
Well, 9 charges though.
He had around 70 mod or so 9 charges.
Alright. I'm not sure if it was up to 9 though. Force Major, and we're jumping right back in. TSA still alive, so we're going down, however. I mean, the damage of the Phoenix.
This strat by ABV is quite interesting. Say you support it, when it's suicide one of the two supports, I'm sure assassinate and get the kill, right?
Yeah, which is strange because unlike chess, usually you don't want to take trades. You don't want to make trades, rather, of equivalent value, position 4 for position 4, when you are ahead. And I would say VPP, in terms of net worth, it's not very much of a lead, 1k, and, you know, you can hand wave that away. That's not even an item on any single core, right? Or support for that matter. But because you are ahead, I feel like, well, I mean, actually, I think it's fine. Because your supports this game, you know what, they don't help you push, right? It's really Sniper that's your push, so.
And Bloodseeker. Both of them push just physical damage.
You are right.
I mean, we say this like it's not clinks or low droid or whatever, but they honestly they deal a fair amount of physical damage, so it's not bad. They're strong against towers. And usually I would argue actually the way that Bloodseekers play nowadays is more on the 20, I think more than the early game powers. Your laning is great, and if you have to come around 20 minutes, they catch the really good get Supernova off this game.
And he's a good one there. Just using it to kill him to death, because that's going to stop this sort of counter-initiation attempt we had with the supports inside the jungle. So Levery's going to run on over. Duster, though, with the I don't know, he's here.
I mean, that was a valuable kill here at that. But Dandy is the biggest space creator. It seems clearly for Bait that they're running around Ward and Tiger as their two main win conditions. Whereas Dandy's all West build, right? There's much more around the space creation. Yeah, I like this build. So it's not Witch Blade that we see very often these days. It's Vessel, BKB, probably a Solar Crest later to buff the Arc Ward.
Yeah, it seems like I think that's going to have a lot of utility. Maybe a Sheep Stick. But yeah, that's sort of their style here. Forsake, or it's a Forsake, not Forsake. Yeah, he's going to it shows that he's basically going to be the only one to fall. They do drop a tombstone, unfortunately, that's not going to proc any zombies onto the sniper, so just vision goes all the way. Just vision, and zoning, rupture, mid lanes for sexy battles, a tanky last, though.
I realize now, you're not misgendering insulting anyone who uses those words.
No, it's not insulting.
Yes.
Oh, listen, dude, he's basically like a ship, isn't he?
What?
He's basically like a ship.
Tide, yeah, I guess eats it. I don't know what the show was, by the way. Plus, you're like, hey guys, Tide can't dispel this.
Yeah, I think that was I have BKB.
Yes.
Maybe if I rupture them and they try and fight, we can win.
Also, it's rupture level 1, so you don't even deal enough damage for Tide to be bothered by the
Yeah,
rupture.
and Tidy, again, he can drug off your silence, so he's happy to just stand there. He's got a Blink Dagger now, though, with this Ravage ready to go.
Actually, you can rupture. Jump up to the high ground. No! Many a brave warrior has lost their life trying to go high ground like this.
He kills that story, though.
Yeah, honestly, he has more gold than he did.
Who knows, maybe that's gonna...
320 gold in total.
Yeah, and it had a TP scroll for Dendi, so if the fight starts going wrong for Bait here, and
Radiant's bottom
not
tower
gonna be able
is
to
under
TP out.
attack.
Just
Dire's top tower is under
we
attack.
always wonder, why doesn't this guy have a TP when they get caught up in some strange places? You know? Sometimes that can be the cause. A little courier kill off a god for Beak. Moral is continuing to just farm. He wants basically FPs. Yep, BKB is going to be next for him. That's going to be pretty fast.
They're playing on the inflection point I was talking about, right? 20 minute mark, plus Seeker, we have BKB and Maelstrom, that both press Y, as I mentioned, and the sniper is trying to get that BKB. Once they get both BKBs, I think they're good to fight. I would still like to see a sharp plus Seeker in this game because our opponent tends to tank a fair amount. There's a really good strength gain, actually better than agility gain, and the chart helps you deal pure damage based on the enemy tree, right? So it's great against Tide, great against Undying, really good Warden. But I've seen that a lot of, in pro games particularly, Bloodseekers don't like building the chart. I've only seen it once or
Radiant's
twice.
bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
That makes sense, though. There's going to be a break, and that should be a broken Sexy back here. He's going to get his armor back there. Yeah, Sun right here against him, even with the headdress for the Defiant Sorry. It's going to actually percentage-based damage as they define Andy.
Radiant's bottom
They
tower
trouble,
is
they
under
destroy,
attack.
no, they messed up.
Yep.
Nick's is like, you want to steal my assassinate? Wow. They didn't TP there to make sure they kill a kill.
Yep, they use the arena upload there onto Dendi, actually, and the rupture on top, as you stated, so Dendi could absolutely go nowhere. He still didn't have a TP, in fact, still doesn't. And again, you know, sometimes that's what ends up making the difference, right? His courier does, no TP, he just wants to stick around and push and gets caught.
Really good job. No, red deal. That's just you see the TP actually can't tell what's TPing, but you still get free gold out of that. And that's all celebrity. Honestly, 240 gold, it's kind of
Dire's structures are
that's more
fortified.
than the support kill.
Dire's
Yeah,
bottom
and
tower
it's
is under attack.
also cuts farm away from the Arc Warden.
Yes.
It makes you force the Fortify out now as well. You know, all these things start to really start making a difference here.
Dire's
Minus
bottom
armor for
tower is under
PvP, they
attack.
could Roche, but it's really slow. And against a Tide Hunter with Undying, Invoker, it's not really a...
No.
You want a fast Roche if you're going to Roche against this lineup.
Yeah, ideally what you want to do is throw in towers, and ideally want to force a fight, and because you have so much range and ability with both. It's kind of difficult that's another option. Like, shows himself. The rush of the Invoker, Dandy stopped running, Assassinate was on his DP, perfectly calculated here, and they're going to finish off Dandy rather easily. TSA will also fall to the Supernova, but the zombie will go for Force Major, and the zombies will end up getting a kill here for Bait. We already lost 2 cores, so it's still a win for PvP.
You don't have a 4-5, Sniper doesn't even need to be in tower range here. You're going to lose your tier 2 here as the back door gets broken. Yeah, great fight there. Nice jump in as well by our Nyx assassin. Sorry, that's the second consecutive kill, actually. He's been able to get onto the Tide Hunter, just nullifying basically their entire initiation here. And from there, it's so hard to start the fight for Bait. Who starts the fight? It's not your Tide Hunter with a nice Ravage, right? Tier 2, and now they get a back for Roche. Again, we still have this Ravage. This is, and that's, I think this is the point we need to before we will be interrupted by a fight from BVG and lead us to it. Why tell rather than show is kind of BVG, as they keep beating us to the explanations, but this is going to be a pretty easy Roche for them.
Mid late, they already got the Aegis, sexy red. They dropped the Tombstone as well, which I didn't know they had it already. But anyway, shrapnel by the Ruben. Always Laurel. Again, Laurel has the agent. Not too worried. He's okay with losing his first life here. If they continue to fight, this is getting bad for them. There's the agent taken. Will Pate continue to fight this? Again, BKB ready. Laurel might just have to use it. There we go. With the arena one. And BA, he might have been extended here. As Notice also uses his own BKB. The go-to tanky heroes got dying. And Mars also finished off THA in the backlines and RTO's clone. Give me some extra farm to Notice. Another good fight. And if I can predict this as a caster, mind you, I think Bay should be able to as well.
Yeah, and that, mind you, is not saying I'm stupid and I saw this coming. He's saying, mind you, I have true sight and know everything around the map that they don't have access to.
So I am also stupid.
That's not why he's bringing it up, though, right? No, but you're absolutely right there. I think Bait, in retrospect, they're also thinking probably the same thing you are, which is, man, that should have been an Aegis back.
Dyer's
We
top
sniped
tower
the Aegis, we're super happy with that. That makes it that much harder for me to put the Hydra out here. Even if you use Rapture for that, that's totally well worth it. But now, yeah, okay, you don't have your ulties, you get through your Aegis, but you also died at your
Radiant's
cores.
bottom tower is under attack.
And you're dying on your cores with a team that can easily pick this up if this goes late, but it's not guaranteed, right? Whereas last game, the game went late enough, you're pretty much... This game against Bloodseekers, you really cannot...
No, Phoenix is probably dead. No, there's no telekinesis.
Okay, TSA was weird. Oh, he used it early.
I mean, that's their only stun, right? So.
Oh, yeah, I guess the lack of catch is also pretty
Dyer's
bad.
top tower is under
And Sexy Fast. It doesn't look tanky at all. Notice looking and these fight confidence against, I believe, the cold snap from the EEU there. Will's not deadly. He can't go spear and rupture to finish him off. Juster came back into the game to die a second time. It makes you think why he picked up an undying to die.
Oh goodness! Look at that! It's a late night show punchline from Oliver. Oh, I thought I'll die. This guy always doing is dying.
Dyer's middle tower is under attack.
And laughed.
Yeah. I mean, the fights are just looking worse and worse here for Bay consecutively as now the network losing sense as well. Okay. I mean, this is not quite notable, especially when you factor in the Midas here that he's got an RDO, which by this point has paid itself off because he is doubling it, but still.
Look at the patience, by the way, by VVD. See the one bubble, which is used by the clone amendment. But okay, this is a time to push. Well, they also see the enemy team is cut back. They know they can't really force the issue too much, so they go and just farm, cut lanes, etc., and control the triangle. Now, as VVP, ideally,
Dyer's bottom
if you
tower
can,
is
push
under
it to your
attack.
one. Once you push it to your one,
Dyer's bottom
triangle, you
tower
can
is
push
under
the bottom lane and push the mid lane, reducing the space for Bait, and making it really difficult for Bait to really impose anything.
Yeah.
They won't have any map control.
There's an KB now, so they're not scared of the double bubble, or maybe even a triple bubble here. They do not care anymore. They're going to pop that bubble.
There's no more double trouble.
No more double bubble trouble whatsoever. VPP here, they're going to play some pretty clinical end game, as you're saying. They're probably going to be looking for maybe picking up a gem. They've already got some great vision near the existing objectives outside of the base. This ward's great, unlikely to be dewarded. Gives you vision on like an invoker trying to hide in here, get off a little sneaky combo, a little tide hunter hiding in here. Gives you map control. Oh, come on, you know this map.
Okay. Big potatoes from the back. They can use this potato spot, this potato spot.
Yeah. So, but a lot of times here for end of game, I think the old TNC was really good whenever they got like a nice lead like this.
Even the TNC won the major.
The TNC that won the one major of
Dyer's bottom
majors in
tower is
2020.
under
Yeah, but they
attack.
won the first.
They won the first major with Marsh, Captain, Wolf Shaker.
I remember, that was a
I remember. Those were the yeah, of course. But they were really good at this. They would buy a jet stop now. They would just cut vision. They would force bait to twirl, which is the worst thing when you're an operator. You want to get that double outside the base. It's so hard to. For some reason, they actually still have their outposts. It's just been captured, so they still have a little bit of map ability. They're going to be looking to try and snipe a kill anyone farming this tier 2 or defending tier 2. But Nick's going to be a little bit lighter than that. It's funny here is missing off the map. So there he goes. Yep, infinite dump. He didn't actually see Sexy Fat though. Nick doesn't have good night vision. Or he's got average night vision of 800.
You know what sucks about the R-quarter in this position, or R-quarter, like more continue faster routes, right? His late game was powerful, but the whole idea of turning based around your bubbles and trying to But with the recent change, this
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
longer. Level of talent, the kind of increase in levels, right? You're seeing that Arc Works now just want to keep it alive as much as possible, which is very difficult to do when you do split work without vision.
Yeah.
Which means it's all these buffs that Arc Works has get caught, and the reason why he's still playing competitive nowadays don't really seem as strong because this kind of playstyle denies them, right?
Exactly, and it's not like you could just afford willy-nilly to run the double down the mid lane and farm it, because your enemies are going to kill it, and then they're going to realize, oh, he doesn't have the double, let's run in and fight.
Exactly.
Like, you really can't understand how important that double bubble is, even with the MKB now on Sniper, not just the double bubble, but double flux,
Everything, right? Just getting the, I mean, not only right now, especially when you're behind and far more equal, the idea is like you either play with the clone or you don't play.
I like the telekinesis. The shard is actually really good against him. I hate to interrupt you, but
And it's also really good because, of course, any spell you steal, you get a
oh,
shard.
no, of course, yeah, that's the goal. Right?
That's why most Rubiks will build shard, but people have realized that actually the shard's not that bad. Because on paper the shard seems pretty good. But then once you start using it in your team fights and stuff, you realize, oh, there's actually a lot of situations where, as a Rubik, I'd rather have shard than, say, an arcane.
It also dramatically increases the skill ceiling of a Rubik player.
Yes.
Because Rubiks, according to the lore, they steal whatever spell he wants. He's a master, but he gets bored of them. The Rubik players IRL are much the same, except they're a little bit more studious, and the good ones will actually study which spells have Aghanim's upgrades that they can cast, right? And what they are. And you can really tell the difference here. So this game, I think the only one is really the Mars, Spirit of Mars. Vendetta, if you steal it, is actually pretty darn good.
Radiant's
You
bottom
reduce the
tower
magic
is
resistance
under
by
attack.
10%.
Oh, the Spirit's actually good.
Yes, it's not bad.
Radiant's
Cost
structures
is
are
pretty
fortified.
solid.
Yeah, Blood Rite, a little bit less so, I would say.
Blood Rage only affects
Yep.
only affects the blood. With a shard, it only affects the
I guess for the sniper, well,
get it correct.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Even though it's good, but not this game. So, I don't know if he's trying to cut lanes here. I mean, Invoker was nearby, so even if Major, the clone shouldn't be too difficult. Spike Corpus, Major Dust, seems like
there's Deadly somewhere nearby. They are TPing some friends over to help them, though.
hey, my Deadly. And then I don't care where the clone is tossed. I know the clone's stuck there anyway.
Yeah, it's used as teleport, it's going to time out, so they're going to go ahead and signal into the charge here pretty much, get the buyback out of Dendy.
Oh, they know it's on cooldown as well. It's the duration of the clone. They know they can push it. They're
They're going to be playing this one a little bit more patiently, though. They didn't have everyone there, but nice
Radiant's
patience, though, like
bottom
you're
tower
saying.
is under
Radiant's
attack.
put a spotlight here on a Force Major who goes, yeah, no, there's a Dendy here somewhere. I'm going to use my Carapace just to delay my death a bit longer. He calls the TP because they realize they can get a kill, and they do.
Yeah. The problem here for the reason why AB is not able to push, of course, is because very intelligently they did cut lane. Volker, so that was the right play anyway.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
The reality is that losing dying your Invoker by cutting lane is not ideal, but I guess Invoker. You have a really difficult time breaking high ground against big.
I mean, yeah, you do, and unfortunately, as you say, that's kind of the reality of Dendy's farm. This game really is impacted.
Radiant's bottom
I
tower
mean,
is under
you tell
attack.
me, you show me this build here, you black out the name, and you black out the lane stage, and you show me the idea, and you go, okay, so it's like all the way mid, I mean, Invoker position of 4, right, like with this farm.
Oh, they catch the system, they should kill. Spike Carpus, oh, very nice. Spike Carpus, he's trying to
Next, you
Funny enough, he might have gotten that kill, but TSA spiked Carpus, spiked Carpus.
very impressive.
Nah, you can't spike Carpus,
No, Spike Carpus is an auto attack.
Yes, because then Dota would have crashed and silly things would happen.
Yeah, it's like when you do Google.
Oh, yeah, you cannot be talking. Google's like, no, you're not talking.
No, internet crashes actually. That's actually the first in all cases because someone Googled Google.
Yep. Hate when that happens.
They try to buy stocks in the stock market. The stocks of the stock market.
I want to buy stonks of the stonks, please. And they said, nope. Sorry, stonk machine broke.
Exactly. Okay, so you get the Aegis now. This should be able. With this Aegis, I can imagine you can push high ground, maybe get some mod on Bloodseek. Oh, Tide. They can fight Tide for free. Laurel's close to. Equally, they're find Sexy Fat. Arena's great against Sexy Fat.
poor spider trying to get out of your room.
Yeah, exactly. that is exactly what we just saw.
Oh, lordy. Yeah, he's set for 45 seconds, and that might be a high ground push. They do have Force Major back here just defending the lanes, but just trying to hunt for anyone. If he was a bit more patient, he actually would have found Dendy. He was running around. He's got his BKB, though.
I don't know, if Dendy has a big AV, you can't really kill him. But you should be pushing now. Like, also. And can you get out of the buildings?
Nope. Followers. Party on heroes.
Bloodseeker's like, oh, I didn't. So my Carpus is very easy to just murder. He has a shard now, though. Thank you. Notice, first game I finally see the shard. I think very valuable in this game.
Radiant's bottom
Ah,
tower
this
is under attack.
Very annoying. Who gave him that?
Dire's main tower is under
Force
attack.
Major comes by. He's like, can I have been to the tower? That way. Then he's almost getting tied onto the sniper alone. Big Kitty is still available, by the way, and she's still noticed. Yes, and Pistol.
Yep. And Aegis, of course.
Yeah, you're close to Aegis.
It's a slow siege, but eventually the building will fall. Ardio's going to deny him with the arc double. Always getting absolutely owned right now by the Zed. As he will go down. That's a slight device on someone I saw.
Oh, no.
Who has... He was hexed, right? Oh, is it the neutral? What? Was he not hexed?
I think you... I think
I must be losing my mind.
That's the was my Carpus. It's because Sniper's very small.
He is very small, you know.
He's like a piglet.
It really is. You know, sometimes I see like
I was going for Satanic at the end. Is that okay? We got blood here for this launch. Just what it is. They're gonna fight this, of course. Ravage is still available, but you still have the BKBs on Sniper and Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker's coming by. We go from behind. Supernova still DSA. Vulnerable to destroy. Out this trigger. There they go. Close down. Egg once. Realizes that bad play. BKB on time for noticed. And the Ruben telekinesis himself actually to save himself. Not bad idea.
then he's able to TP away, takes it back though. Womp might not get lucky. They've got a sniper rifle, big old tarantula running around in the trees, and they will be able to kill him.
I mean, that's not a base video where they try to shoot the spider.
That's not as bad. Dendy as well being incredibly annoying. He's going to drop a meatball on the wave here. RDO is going to try and finish off. Okay, he's going to try and go for a kill on a DSA. He's going to pop his BKB. Decent damage from DSA, unfortunately. Oh, now with Dendy showing up, this might be a kill. The DSA will drop, but there's going to be kind of huge now. Noticeably, this plays right to the face of Dendy, who has really no chance there, even through the BKB.
Still have cheese, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's tough to just push. Like, you get 2 kills, you still return the cheese, you know there's no Ravage. I know there's no ball trouble, but you just go. Right, that's all good. But it's all good. Kill Rubik, that's just close. RDO will lose his clone here well easily next to the MKB, and that's no clone. It's your time to play.
Rubik, no. Steve
Is he gonna die to no?
He almost died of the Swift Link, by the way, so Sniper's upgraded his Zapper rifle into a machine gun.
That was the point of the Eagles. I was wondering, butterflies, the E-Blade, that makes a lot of sense. And Blink Dagger is a very popular build on Sniper as well, especially base, so I think Swift Blink goes well with you.
I agree.
Please push, though.
Yeah, I mean,
There's no Ravage. Like, seriously, I know the Arcorden is a really big threat, but there's no Ravage, and you're gonna have to push at some point.
they really don't want to. They've taken the... In fact, they didn't even take the Tier 3 tower out. Argue denied it.
Yeah, Dardio was tired of defending.
It's like, come on, guys, are you kidding me?
There's not even a tower. The bubble's not even giving attack speed to anything. It's just defending the racks. And Bloodseeker's a pretty good hero to deal with that as well, because you just walk in the middle. Or maybe just Abyssal into the Arc Warden, that would be ideal, but they can't catch up to him.
They had some serious troubles now. RDO is pretty strong now, especially with the BKB. Of course, the clone... Does the clone have his own independent BKB charges?
Okay. So if you waste a lot of BKBs on clone, then it sucks for you, of course.
Radiant's
What
top
happens
tower
is that
is
you
under
want to waste the
attack.
BKB clone charges first, because otherwise they'll also... So you want to use the BKB charge
On the clone first, right, because, yeah. Good to know.
You can
Radiant's
call
top
it
tower
for
is
those
under
specific
attack.
seconds racks. Once the clone is below you, then it's fine. The clone just takes... But it's just a little bug there.
No, I get you. It's going to take... if the original, if the OG Arc Warden has higher charges...
It's going to use the lower ones. That's the most efficient play.
Yeah, because before I think the interaction was 9 Rapier Arc Warden with your base, and Val's like, how about no?
Yeah, that was stupid. Also, with Necronomicon, also stupid.
Oh, yeah.
When you would actually just summon them every time you summon the clone, because it would refresh. So
Yeah.
MKB and Arc Warden, I'm not sure what he's dealing with the MKB, but it's more damage, so it's not bad.
Damage, right?
Evasion, I could see. Any DSAs I haven't covered?
We do have Howard, yeah.
Okay, so that's why. I think that's mainly the reason. This is a big deal, and you already get damage on gate.
Radiant's top tower is under
It's
attack.
actually I chose to use Leveler instead. We need to push all the time. This game will never end.
This game is,
I mean, 23
Radiant's
hours.
top tower
minutes.
is
Yeah.
falling.
Oh, are they fighting? No, it's just Celebrity. He's poking in pride.
Just one York would have so badly.
Radiant's top
When
tower
this build
is
is
under
unfortunately
attack.
not easy to get him. His PKB angry at all. Just catch him and get him to speed. There's no working like an Arc Warden. Arceus just playing super.
He is, and
These are the games that bait wins, by the way.
yeah?
The long form games where they can turn this around, these are the games that they win. By some miracle, they always force any mistakes and they win. Which is why I think VVP plays so extra defensive.
I think the problem is, yes, as you said, VVP played very defensively, and I don't think having a sniper, a sniper with a blink dagger and a bloodseeker with a blink dagger, those are one-way blinks, right? So you can set yourself up to make some mistakes, right? If you blink in and you go, oh god, we forgot about the Ravage, or something silly like that. So it's possible, but I don't know if I can really see it happen. I mean, look at this. Is that a bubble? I don't think so. Laurel, he hates bubbles.
Sniper just
Radiant are scanning.
making sure to clean up any clones.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys should not play God. You guys can't clone yourself like this.
And then he plays Manta style anyway.
Exactly. Other illusions are different.
This is a strong illusion. I can't break it with Hex. Wait, I strong intensity.
Sniper, the true believer of this game.
Yeah. He's gonna lead the Colt.
I mean, it's 40 minutes in, and VP has just been at the neck of bait, but unable to even touch this high ground, you know? Sniper with a little footsie, he can't get close to the high ground. And then it feels so annoying.
This is like, you know, it's a big staircase for a guy with little legs, you know.
And he can't see above him, he's just...
I can't.
That's why they can't see the high ground. Bloodseeker is also kind of short.
He is?
He's a hunchback as well, and runs close to the ground.
I'm sure you can.
I don't. I'm 2 centimeters shorter. It's really nothing. Stop bringing it up.
Okay, we see the sniper. They're going to find him with the Ravage there. Satanic Anthem now. Machine gun goes burr onto Sexy Pet, but it's not going to be enough life for him.
They're gonna win this game.
No, I don't believe it.
They're gonna win this game, dude. Like, this is how they do it. They see even the smallest mistakes, take the opportunity. I'm the carry this whole time.
Actually, guys, it was just that easy the whole time.
They left their high ground though, so they're of course much weaker.
That is very true. Multiple avenues of attack. It allows the next assassin to be moving around quite easily. 3 death inside of things, and with Noticed alive, they still have some pretty good pushing power to tend with here to try to force those buybacks, but there won't be a Ravage.
Dyer's middle barracks
There's
are
not
under
going to be a
attack.
touchdown available either. There's the bubble again. Bubble trouble.
Dyer's
Just wait this one
structures
out.
are fortified.
Fortify now.
Dyer's
Wait
middle
longer.
barracks are under
They
attack.
don't want to use any buybacks here. Denny's back at 35. Actually back at 30. There it is. Have that line to live. Get some damage out from RDO. There's going to be the Sunray to keep a nice second deal. Phoenix now will turn that right on. So RDO, Spike Carapace there. Will stun up RDO's Z double as well off of the Mjolnir lightning bounces. And there it is. It's just that easy to take barriers, guys. You just have to kill the real.
You just have to wait for them to leave the high ground.
Yeah.
Okay, so based on this pattern, if we give them 20 more minutes, they'll take all the rounds. And around minute 80, they might be able to finally finish this.
That might be the case here. That very well might be the case. But RDO's got himself a nice little item. Now we've got the sheepstick here. I was about to say there's no way we had it before. But now we do. So sheepstick and doubled, of course, here for our Arc Warden. That one up. Or was it Dendy's? Okay, Denny's actually going now for the Aghanim Scepter. So for the Cataclysm, he's starting to transition now into Giga's Warden Invoker, so a little bit more damage for him. This Axe is going to be really, really nice for him. He's got 3,300 gold already for it, but he's going to need to save his money a little bit longer here, unfortunately. Is he actually being outfarmed by Sexy Fat right now?
Like it.
Yeah, he is. Not by
Sexy Fat
much.
is the main carry after all, right?
Not by much, but you know.
Because the rule that's been going right for it. Much more. Sniper, honestly.
No, he doesn't want it. He blinks away. He
Oh,
looks
snakes.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, actually, for teaching high ground, Burrow is amazing. So
I normally don't like the Knicks that go for the Burrow, but like you said, this game, it's hard to really find a better game for it.
yeah. I would have liked the sniper racks as well. I think that was justifiable as well, because the reducing cast point means you can stun hit, right? But I can see the point.
So you have to blink in.
Exactly. Talking about blinking, we're seeing a swift blink also for everyone's going for swift blink after buff these days.
It's just really good.
It's just really good, and honestly, it goes really well with heroes like Sniper or Bloodsinger because you're all about burst damage, right?
Yeah, and especially when you're trying to siege high ground, right? Getting that initial kind of blink in. That's why I feel like we're seeing so many like Morphling, so many Monkey Kings, so many Earth Spirits, right? We have a Phoenix that can like just kind of ignore pathing, but he's really the only one with natural mobility like that. Everyone else is going to have to make sort of a one-way trip in, and we've already seen Bait. They have no problems taking out Phoenix.
Exactly. The Phoenix, though, is important for these team fights because a defensive supernova is a great way to siege the high ground. Of course, though, with the Arc Warden, you're like, I don't know what they do. Like, you play a constant push.
I mean, they're just cutting each other's waves here. It's kind of adorable. Like, they just need to like meet up somewhere and be like, wow, you like waves? So do I. We should cut groups together in the mid lane sometimes and maybe fight.
Yeah, I mean, maybe these teams actually, they'll find out. They have more similarity.
They have so much in common here.
It's like a trailer for a dumb rock. Today, this game of Dota, they'll find out the high ground was the only thing dividing them. Alright, VPP. Another attempt for the high ground. No creeps. RDO sends his clone. Wait, Hex the sniper. Okay, he has double Hex. Then he dies in the bottom lane. For speed. And TSA behind as well. Now they're going to go for the tower. They finally have an opportunity. The ball doesn't matter any longer because VPP can walk through the high ground easily.
Now they're going to go back there. So double level. Sexy Fat threatening to damage. You know, this is the top of BKB preemptively here.
Two buybacks though, which is a success.
And
They still have Supernova.
And they get that kill around the high ground because somehow they forgot about this little warm spot here.
Okay, that's again, that's the sniper. They're fighting back.
Yeah, I don't think so. Begun the Clone Wars have, but he's now ended Dumbness with the Satanic. He's able to pretty easily outtrade even the off-board double, especially when it's disarmed. That just makes it a little bit easier.
Okay, Swift Blink helping the sniper avoid the EMP for now. But he's like, okay, I just want to hit the tower. And then probably get 3 hits before the ult comes out. But if you use the clone here, that's kind of a waste of last to kill the sniper at times. So it's like a hard ball. Lose stages for free. We have a supernova, but DSA doesn't want to use it.
He's going on a strafe run there, a little gun run there.
I'll pretend like he's going to use it behind
He might die. Cheese was
Somebody help us. Okay.
I the cheese.
Yeah, I can't tell.
That was weird.
I heard cheese too.
I heard it too.
Bloodseeker has his cheese still, so he's going to have more cheese.
Dyer's top tower
Oh my god,
is
that's the two
falling.
results. Argument denied either. They're just winning out this tombstone here.
Biggest success of the game for me.
Will they go back in? We've got another gun run here for the Phoenix in a second. Will they decide to go for it? I'm not sure. They're just waiting here. No one is pushing on him. Everyone in the base.
That's perfect. The combo finally comes out.
They only come
That's a dive back to the Rubik, though. And they destroy the clone as well. They should be the chance to actually push these racks, though.
Oh yeah, there's the sniper. Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
No, seriously? Guys, please. Just walk in. You guys still have the...
No, celebrity. No, they're not going for it.
Don't they have BKB still on sniper or Bloodseeker? Okay, that's fine. RTO, Akit is off BKB. This close down. For the beginning, you notice takes his life. It's trying to finish off Dendy. He doesn't have a pilot, that's Duster. So the Rupture, their initiation, has noticed is tired of this game. He wants to push the melee back to the hell of the sniper. And then General, sorry, Celebrity. He does have the Minotaur run, I believe. Force Major wanted to help out. He has the prey, trying to kill the Tiger. Notice walks in. They find Dendy, and that's a touchdown for Dendy. It's perfect. Force Mars, they might kill a Mars as well. But that doesn't really matter though here. As they finish on 2 heroes who didn't have and they're going to take the racks. And Celebrity kills back up
No, they're just going for the finish here. Can't they get it done? There's the blink forward. I'm already know. That's the real close. Running away. That's the first line. There, get ready for RDO round 2. You can look for the kill on the major. This time around, time to the do nothing. Where's the GG call? VPP, they take their sweet time. They will be able to get the patience finally came on. I really like the actually were bidding for the fight. They were going, no,
So Rubik and Undying, very used to playing sacrificially because you're supports after all, ended up sacrificing themselves twice in a